Democrats, do me a favor. Do not listen to people like Charlamagne Tha God. Okay? So Charlamagne was talking about this government shutdown, and he made a comment as relate to what Democrats should be doing. Y'all have that? Okay, play it.
You know what I don't understand, Mimi, and I don't know, maybe you can explain it to me. That the health care is going to go up anyway because of the big, beautiful bill, because that didn't include the extension of the tax credits to keep the cost down. So if it's going up anyway, what's the point of Democrats taking the stand to keep the government still closed?
At this point, you're right, because the premiums, which the open enrollment started this weekend, November 1st. And so people are getting those letters in the mail. In fact, one person in Utah, a woman in Utah, she told ABC News that she opened her bill and saw that her monthly premium had already jumped from about $400 a month, Charlamagne, to over $2,000 a month. And so at this point, it's like, what's going to happen? Is it retroactive? Like, how is this going to work as we continue to go forward? So you're absolutely right.
And the premiums are set for a year. So at this point, if the premiums have already gone up, if they set for a year, at least give the people some relief and get the government back open.
Do not listen to what the hell he just said. That, to me, is beyond idiotic, because this battle that we're seeing is not solely about health care. Rebecca, I don't know what the hell that was. That was just bullshit.
Boy. So you got to talk about some black on black violence, right? Some woke on woke conflict between Charlamagne the Devil, aka Leonard McKelvey, and Roland Martin, aka Roland Fart, okay? Who is upset because Charlamagne is apparently not pushing Democrat talking points correctly to black folks, right? Charlamagne the Devil wanted Democrats to fold during the shutdown, okay? When Democrats were holding out, Charlamagne came out and said, listen, y'all the reason why the shutdown is happening. You're cutting off people's food stamps. People can't eat. people not getting their checks. They working. Planes crashing, right? Like, Democrats, you're at fault. He told the truth. From a Trump deranged perspective, though, right? From a Trump deranged perspective, he did tell some truth about Democrats being responsible. Now, again, this is not the talking points that Democrats want their propagandists spewing on their airways. So they got their plantation overseer, Roland Martin, to do the same thing he did to Stephen A. Smith, but to do it to Charlamagne.
You got to jump in his ass. You got to jump in his ass. Jump in his ass. His ass. You got to push back immediately. Jump in his ass.
It is an absolute pursuit of truth, which is how I define myself as a journalist. Because I have too much respect for this microphone, and I have too much respect for the audience, to be given something that's half correct. And again, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm just going to give y'all an example. Today, again, in that 20-minute discussion that Charlamagne had, and again, this is not tearing down. I'm just stating what happens when a basic statement is made, and maybe you're not thinking about what you're saying that's actually wrong. Charlamagne was quoting Bishop William Barber, talking about the big ugly bill. And he said when the bill passed, quote, Democrats failed to expand the tax credits. So it's incorrect for Charlamagne to say, quote, Democrats failed to expand the tax credits. How could they fail to expand it when they didn't have the power? Republicans did. So should the statement have actually said the GOP cut the subsidies? The GOP cut the tax credits. See, y'all missed that. Y'all missed that. I want to walk y'all through very basic understanding language. If the phrase is Democrats failed to expand the tax credits, that means that you are assigning blame for the tax credits expiring on the Democrats because they failed to expand the tax credits. But if the language is the GOP cut the tax credits, that's the appropriate language. Why? because they control the House, control the Senate, control the White House. So just that one line right there completely changes the context of the conversation. Which is why words matter, why language matters, and why we can't be reckless or lazy with how we construct words, because you can change the context of a discussion by changing the words.
Guys, I gotta tell you, that clip is hilarious to me. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because Roland Martin, right, in his response to Charlamagne, okay, he basically is saying that, well, see, my problem, Charlamagne, is that you're not pushing propaganda correctly on behalf of the Democrat Party. See, this is why people like Roland Martin, when, you know, people want to talk about black conservatives being sellouts and all that, no. The real people who are really selling out black folks are people like this guy, because this is plantation overseer type stuff, okay? He's telling Charlamagne, no, listen. My problem with you is that you're not pushing the propaganda correctly. And because you're not pushing the propaganda correctly, you're spreading misinformation. When Roland Martin is actually the one spreading the misinformation. Why is he spreading misinformation? Because he's basically saying that, no, Charlamagne, you don't need to tell your audience that Democrats are at fault for the Obama tax credits expiring. No, you don't need to tell your audience that. That's not true. That's not true. Actually, no, Republicans are at fault. Republicans are at fault because Republicans have not agreed yet with Democrats to extend the tax credits, even though Democrats are the reason why the tax credits are expiring in the first place. Democrats are the ones that decided when they extended the tax credits, when Biden was in office, that they would expire in 2025. Republicans didn't decide that. Democrats decided that the tax credits would expire in 2025. That is on Democrats. It's not the Republicans' fault that Democrats voted to have the Obamacare tax credits expire in 2025. But Roland Martin is mad because Charlamagne is correctly saying that, yes, Democrats are at fault for the Obamacare tax credits expiring, right, or going away. They are at fault, right? It is their fault. They're the ones that, again, voted to have them expire in 2025. It's not on the GOP. The GOP may be making a conscious effort to let them expire, which, again, apparently they're going to have a vote on it, right? So we're going to see, right? But it is not accurate to say that the GOP cut the tax credits. That's not accurate. That's propaganda. That is a lie. That is Roland Martin shilling for Democrats. That's not journalism at all. Which, again, that's the funny part about it, because Roland's whole thing with Charlamagne is, well, I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for decades, right? And it's like, you may have been a journalist, I don't know, 20 years ago, right? And I highly doubt you were a journalist then, but you're certainly not a journalist now.
The general public does not necessarily distinguish between who's a journalist and who's not. Who's a journalist and who's a DJ. Who's a journalist, who's a shock jock. Who's a journalist and who's a radio host. Who's a journalist, who's a podcaster. Who's a journalist and who has a digital show. Because, see, the public just sees all media. But there are clear distinctions in terms of our roles and responsibilities. And I thought about that when I saw, because I landed in Bermuda, and all these text messages and whatever, and people hit me up, said, oh, did you see it? No, I didn't. I was literally in the air. And then as folks would hit me up, and I got phone calls from people, and I was quite amused by it all, because it's not like it's new to anyone where I stand on facts.
You are not acting as a journalist. In your current capacity, you're not a journalist. You're a commentator. You're a podcaster. You have an online show. You're on the same level as Charlamagne, right? Because you're not doing journalism. This is not journalism. It's not journalistic to say that Republicans cut the Obamacare tax credits because they didn't. They're expiring. That's not the same thing as cutting. So again, that's the irony here. He's mad at Charlamagne for spreading misinformation, or what he claims he misinformation, but what he's actually upset about is that Charlamagne is not shilling for Democrats. That's what he's actually upset about. Because it's not accurate to say that the GOP is responsible for the Obamacare tax credits going away. That's not accurate. Like that's just a lie. That's just a flat out lie. But this dude doesn't care because, again, when you're liberal, as I try to tell you guys, when you're a leftist, you don't have to get the facts right. You don't have to be accurate. All you got to do is just tell these people what they want to hear. Just tell them what they want to hear. That's it. It's very easy to be a leftist. So anyways, let's watch this video giving us a summary of the beef here between Roland Martin and Charlamagne over the government shutdown.
About affordable healthcare, and furthermore, Charlamagne and Amy Brown ignored that most companies send out a 60-day notice to give people a heads up on prices going up to give them a chance to find a better option. Martin would also voice that Democrats must remain strong on their stance and not waver.
You are in political battles, you maximize your leverage. When you are fighting on behalf of people, they understand that there are people who are not getting benefits. They know there are federal workers who are not getting their paychecks as well. But they also are dealing with an administration that's been slashing and burning and firing people indiscriminately. All this is wrapped up. So what you do not do is you do not capitulate. You do not back down. You don't go, oh, well, we'll just go ahead and pack it in. No. You try to get as much as you can.
Now, following that response, another panelist would label Charlamagne as Wendy Williams' sidekick and suggest that he should stay in his lane in covering entertainment news.
And this is why Wendy Williams' sidekick should not be trusted with political information. I've long had a beef with Charlamagne. This is the exact point. This is why people need to do what it is that they do well. When you don't understand health insurance or politics, you don't do that. You do entertainment news. Expertise has gone out the window. Good journalism has gone out the window in favor of entertainment. Charlamagne will be able to pay for insurance any day of the week. He is a wealthy man. Most people who have to rely on these exchanges will not be able to do the same if the Democrats cave in and give the Republicans what they want right now, which is to have those premiums go up.
Expected, Charlamagne would issue his response, a part of Monday morning's Breakfast Club broadcast, by making Martin the donkey of the day. What did I say that was disinformation? Maybe I gave too short of an explanation.
Maybe I should be clearer for the audience, and I will right now. When the big beautiful bill, or as Reverend Barber called it, the big deadly bill, when that bipartisan spending package Republicans forced through, when that was passed, Democrats failed to extend the ACA premium subsidies originally expanded under the American Rescue Plan and Inflation Reduction. We can have an ideological discussion about the government shutdown. We can agree to disagree. But to say that I put out misinformation, that's just a fat, rotund Martin lie. I just want some of you to know people's motivation. Roland Martin is a hater. He be hating on me behind the scenes to anybody who will listen. He will say something negative about me, always in regards to how I'm moving in this media space. In particular, anything in the political realm. Why does he get this? Why does he get that type of thing? Why is he on cable news? Why do politicians go sit with the Breakfast Club? Roland, I don't know, but he will do all that hating, but loves texting my phone asking to come on the Breakfast Club.
For some, it appears that they're...
So I'm going to answer this question for Charlamagne, who I'm not defending, by the way. I'm just calling it like I see it. Charlamagne was correct. Democrats extended the Obamacare tax credits, and they decided they would expire in 2025. To blame the Republicans for what Democrats did is just not accurate. It's just not true. That's not misinformation. Misinformation is when you turn around and say, no. You actually are supposed to say that Republicans cut it. That is Roland literally just admitting that, hey, I'm mad that you did not shield for Democrats correctly, right? Now, when it comes to why is it that individuals would go on the Breakfast Club and not Roland Martin show, it's because everybody knows that if you don't agree with the Democrats and you go on Roland show, he's not going to treat you very well, right? He's not going to actually let you talk. He is going to try to run over you, overtalk you. It's not going to be fair. It's going to be an ambush, right? He's going to ambush you. That's why people don't go, because it's an ambush. And I don't even think he invites black Republicans on the show anymore, unless they're the type of ones that he feels like he can ambush. So he doesn't even do that. On the Breakfast Club, you can at least have a conversation. You can talk. You can have a real discussion about the issues without worrying about being ambushed, right? On Roland's show, you can't do that. Also, Roland's show, nobody watches his show, right? That's the main thing. Who watches his show? Nobody watches this man's show. He has a tiny YouTube channel, right? Some idiots, he has more subscribers than you. Does he really? He doesn't get more views than me, not on long form videos. I don't do shorts, okay? Roland's show is tiny. And he runs around talking about, oh, God, why does nobody want to advertise with black-owned media? They don't want to pay me for ads. Well, again, nobody watches your show. So, I mean, it's just hilarious to me. It's just funny because the average person, the average black person, right, ignorant person, will side with Roland, but Roland is wrong. Like, he's just wrong. He's wrong, and he's literally lying on behalf of the Democrat Party. He is relying on people not knowing the actual facts, as you're going to see here.
Could be mixed reactions, but one user who would hear the broadcast live would send out a message on X to react to Charlamagne's response. Charlamagne's critique of Roland Martin's criticism of his misinformation was juvenile and absolutely 0% fact-based. Instead of countering with facts supporting his own stance, he instead chose to throw personal attacks. The Breakfast Club represents clickbait. The user would further add, and 0% responsibility in their commentary. They are doing a disservice to black people by contributing to the disinformation campaign attacks against us. I hate that people like him have become the face of black culture. Now, even in the comments of the Breakfast Club's YouTube page, the top comments would end up saying that Roland Martin was right. Now, an issue that many would also have is that Martin and Charlamagne's beef would spill in front of the public. One commenter on Instagram would write, "Using your energy and platform to fight another black person is a reason we will never win." As far as the recent government shutdown, which is now the longest shutdown in history, it was announced on Monday that the Senate finally appears to have reached a deal with a 60-40 vote after 8 Democrat representatives would cross the party line by agreeing to hold a December vote on whether they should extend affordable healthcare subsidies before they expire at the end of this year. If everything goes well, the newly agreed deal will reach Donald Trump's desk to sign off and officially end the government shutdown. So let's talk about it more in the comments below. Do you think Roland Martin was right for calling?
No, he's wrong. He's incorrect, right? He's upset with Charlamagne for not shilling for Democrats, right? That's literally what it is. And the funny part is that, again, a lot of these people, these black folks that are paying attention to this beef, they're going to side with Roland. And he's the one that's misleading them. That's the crazy part. That's the hilarious part. So anyways, Democrats folding right to Republicans over this government shutdown has been the gift that keeps on giving. It's the gift that keeps on giving. All of this conflict, right? The Civil War, the back and forth, is hilarious to me. It is entertainment. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.